Hello and welcome to Season 2 of DuPont Presents The Power of Shunya, a challenge for zero. A show where the zero is the real hero. I'm sure you figured it out by now. Because we want our contestants, our innovators, to come here and wow us with their ideas for zero. That's right, zero emissions, zero accidents, zero malnutrition, zero of all the ills that plague society. We have 16 innovating teams across this series. 2 of them are going to come here and present today and try to impress not just you, but our jury. Our first jury member is the Regional Technology Director, Asia Pacific of DuPont, returning for the second season, Dr. Homi Bidwar. Hello, Homi, how are you?
Hi, Gaurav. Great to be back.
It's good to have you back. Our second judge is the CMD of Karma Venture Services. Please welcome Ms. Nandini Vaidyanathan. Hi, Nandini, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks, Gaurav. Nice to be on this show.
Well, it's nice to have you here on the show. And our third judge, also a returning judge from Season 1, is the founder and CEO of Milagro Business and Knowledge Solutions, Mr. Rajiv Karwal. Hi, Rajiv. How are you?
Hi, Gaurav. How are you?
Looking forward to some good ideas from our youngsters here.
Yes, definitely. I think the first one set the benchmark quite high. And this time, I think we should break that benchmark.
Well, we have 16 teams, as we told you. 2 of them are competing today. Our first team from the Central Food Technological Research Institute, Mysore, Rajiv Ranjan, and from the Indian School of Business, Hyderabad, Charu Singhal. Please welcome our first team. Are you both feeling confident?
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Let's have a look at their particular innovation.
We see the recent reports in the newspapers. A lot of people died from food poisoning, and also midday meal case in Bihar in which pesticide container was used, and it was very awful situation. At current, whatever the technology is available takes a lot of time in order to know the microbial content of a food, as well as the pesticide or hazard monitoring. My innovation would be able to tell to a common man that whether this food that he is consuming or she is consuming is safe to eat or not, whether the water that they are drinking is safe to have, or whether it has some kind of hazardous materials present in that, within a period of 10 to 15 minutes. Actually, there are 2 aspects of my innovation. First aspect is detection of hazardous materials in a sample, and second aspect is monitoring of food hygiene and sanitation. So first innovation, that is about hazard monitoring, is based on bioluminescent bacteria which glows in the dark. So what we have done, we have immobilized those bioluminescent bacteria, and when they are exposed to any kind of contamination, they respond to it in bioluminescence inhibition. In the second case, we have extracted and purified enzyme from an entirely new genus. When this firefly luciferase enzyme reacts with that adenosine triphosphate, which is an energy currency of the cells, they emit light. So based on the ATP levels present, we'll be able to determine the indirect biomass or living organisms in a sample.
Fantastic, Rajiv. Very noble cause indeed. I'm going to get our judges in just a second. But before that, Rajiv has a partner. So to present the business plan of Team D-Lite Ultra, we have Charu, who's from ISB Hyderabad. Charu, you have 90 seconds. Your time starts now.
Every second day we hear about food poisoning reports, contaminations caused due to poisoning in water, food, milk, oil. We find ourselves incapable of testing it because of lack of on-site testing mechanism. Today we are delighted to offer D-Lite Ultra, a one-stop, real-time, on-site food contamination detector. Its potential is huge, but currently we are catering to industries that are hospitality, food processing industry, industrial waste management, government departments like food authorities, water authorities, and lastly the dairy industry. And we offer them solution from 2 points of view. Firstly, from the source point, wherein they would be able to check the inputs which they are getting and judge whether they are safe to consume or not, thus preventing their spoilages and wastages costs. And secondly, it would help them improve their brand value on the consumer part because they are using a product which reduces the risk of food contamination. On the part of consumer, it's a cost of 3 lakhs, but the recurring cost is as low as rupees 5 per essay. It's very low as compared to the competitors which are offering a cost of rupees 150 per essay.
10 seconds.
We are sure that using this product, we can mark Shunya to food poisoning. Thank you.
Good job. Well done, Charu. She got it in time, yes. But now, I'm going to start the clock on the judges because if you think you've heard enough, oh, you've heard nothing yet because they haven't even begun. Judges, go ahead, fire up the grill. They're all yours.
My question is to you, Rajiv. In Twitter language, can you explain to all of us who are not technical people, what is your product and what does it do?
The technology is based on ultra-sensitive luminescence measurement for detection of food poisoning.
Layman language, Rajiv.
Fine.
If you were to explain to somebody who does not understand gobbledygook, what would you say? What is my product? What does it do to my life?
The product D-Lite Ultra is meant to detect on-site monitoring of food poisoning as well as contamination present in various food like milk, meat, freshness and all. So we can detect all these contamination using this instrument.
What would be the value proposition you would offer to, let's say, a restaurant? Because your product is expensive. You said 3 lakhs, right?
I just wanted to ask them the numbers again. I don't think it was clear in terms of the recurring cost of it. You said the one-time cost is 3 lakhs.
The one-time
But a recurring cost, let's say, for example, for a restaurant, like Nandini is asking?
It's rupees 5 per test.
Per test.
Yes.
Typically, how many tests does a restaurant do in a day?
Typically, they normally fetch on the daily basis. A restaurant would be fetching milk products, which are normally...
Answer my question straightforward. How many tests in a day would a typical restaurant do?
About 5 to 6.
5 tests.
My role here is to try to understand what the science is and how unique it is, right? You use these luminescent bacteria, right? You put them on an agar plate and then you put the contaminant in on that plate and the bioluminescence decays over time and you monitor the decay.
Yes.
And based on the pattern of decay, you get an understanding of what that contaminant is. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is new?
Yes. Firstly, I talk about the hazardous material detection using bioluminescent bacteria. The presently available technology uses freeze-dried bioluminescent bacteria which need a pre-incubation for at least 5 to 6 hours in order to get proper luminosity from the bacteria. But what we have done, we have immobilized these bioluminescent bacteria in form of calcium alginate biophotonic beads which can be used directly to detect the hazardous materials. So the 6 hours lag which presently available technology can do, we can provide you the solution which can do on-site monitoring with the same bioluminescent beads. These bioluminescent beads can be kept for the period of 30 days at 4 degrees centigrade.
So there are papers that show that within 3 to 4 minutes you can in fact detect this. So I'm trying to understand the novelty here.
Your market is B2B more or B2C more?
It's B2B.
B2B in India or abroad?
The entire world is a very broad market for this product.
Yeah. So if you were to go global,
Yes.
then how would you go global very quickly? Because that is where probably the volumes, bigger volumes lie. So have you looked at that?
Currently, we are working on, there's a component, the photo multiplier component in our product, which is currently being imported from Japan. So we are trying to make it in-house so that we could further reduce the cost of our product.
I think you should look at what Arvind Eye Care did. When they used to import the ocular lens, it used to cost them $100 a piece. When they started manufacturing, it came down to $2 a piece. And that changed, you know, the dynamics of the cataract market altogether. That's something you guys need to look at.
I'll now let our judges mark our first team. They're marking them on 5 parameters: disruption, relevance, reach and commercial viability, the use of science, and of course, the Shunya proposition. These 5 parameters, and then of course we'll aggregate the score and give it to them out of 100. Okay, let's ask our judges for the scores, please, for Team D-Lite Ultra. Homi, would you like to start, please?
Overall score was 64 out of 100. Relevance was certainly there. So I scored high on that. And I scored high on the Shunya quotient because it is reduction of a big area. Yeah. So I think that's good. I feel that there is not enough new science here.
Okay.
So I scored low on the science part.
Exact same, 64 on 100. That was the gross. Reach and commercial viability, I've given you the lowest at this price point. That's my rider. At this price point, it's extremely low.
Rajiv, first question, is your total also 64?
No, it is 60.
60, okay. Ooh, harsher. Harsher.
See, the lowest you scored was on commercial viability. From me, you got the highest on the use of science. I didn't really look at the newness of science, but the use of science. And all other parameters are average, disruption, relevance, and Shunya quotient. So overall, 60 out of 100.
Well, 188 out of 300. We're going to put them up on the leaderboard. We have one more team that we're going to look at. Their innovation is what they're going to present. But we're going to take a short break right now. We'll be right back. Stay tuned to DuPont Presents The Power of Shunya, a challenge for zero. Well done, team. We heard one team's innovation before the break. It's now time to bring our second team into the competition. So please welcome from IIT New Delhi, Rohan Paul and Ashutosh Tiwari from the SP Jain Institute of Management and Research, Mumbai. Rohan, Ashutosh, how are you?
Very well.
You good? Both good? Confident?
Yes.
You heard the first team. Do you think you're better than them? Quickly, yes or no?
We'll try our best.
I said yes or no. He said we'll try our best. He's not very good at listening, is he? But he is very good at telling his story. Let's have a look at what the story is.
India has 12 million blind persons, largest for any country in the world. All of us have seen blind people carry the white cane to detect obstacles on the ground, but the cane has important limitations. For example, it cannot detect things from needed head height. Say something like a horizontal bar or an open window in a corridor or side of vehicle cannot be detected. So once this problem was identified, we spent a lot of time with end users, seeing how they move and what kind of challenges that they actually face. And that was the direct experience of observing users, spending time with them, spending time with their families, which helps set up the context for this innovation, this process. The smart cane device is a small detachable unit that fits on the top fold of the white cane. It produces an ultrasonic beam that gets reflected from obstacles in the front. This distance information to the obstacles is conveyed to the user through varying vibration patterns. So as you approach a particular obstacle, the vibration patterns change and the user gets alarmed and then can navigate safely around this obstacle. So the device is very simple to use. So there are these vibration patterns and one has to learn how these vibration patterns are changing with the obstacle distance. So the device is accompanied by a product manual which comes in a variety of Indian languages as well as in accessible audio so that the person can listen to it and learn these techniques of how to operate this device, as well as the manuals in Braille are available. And it's been written in such a way that it's from user's point of view. So the user will open the box and they'll actually explore the device on their own and sort of get used to using this device in their day-to-day mobility. So So today, with an innovation like the Smart Cane, it is possible for a visually impaired person to walk with safety and with confidence, without collisions, without the anxiety of unwanted collisions with objects, with obstacles, which actually cause injury. So that's the power of Shunya, to achieve zero collisions, zero injury, and walk with safety for a visually impaired person.
Rohan, without a doubt, very noble thing that you're doing. But tell us, was there a particular incident that was the inspiration behind this thought?
Well, during my undergraduate degree at IIT Delhi, along with my batchmates, I had the opportunity to visit the National Association for the Blind. And they said that, well, for us, mobility is a big challenge. And mobility with the white cane has limitations. So can you build a system which improves the detection range, which makes us walk more safely? So that was the original trigger. And all along, the user feedback and the motivation that we got by working directly, observing them, realizing their day-to-day problems was the biggest inspiration behind this work.
Well, Rohan's teammate is Ashutosh. 90 seconds is all you have, Ashutosh, to impress our judges. Your time starts now.
The single point agenda of our business plan is to ensure Smart Cane reaches to more and more number of people, so that those people can move out with safety, dignity and confidence. Even though Smart Cane is quite inexpensive, still 90% of 12 million blind people in India cannot afford to buy it. So philanthropic capital and institutional purchase is the way forward. Smart Cane offers high social impact to cost ratio. It has got proven benefits, and it improves the quality of life of the user. So corporate CSR funds, government subsidy schemes, and donations could be targeted. So other distribution channel could be possible tie with the medical store chains, and like Apollo and MedPlus, they have got more than 1500 medical stores, and we can also tie up with the
10 seconds.
Eye hospitals like Arvinda and Arvinda Eye Care and LV Prasad, etc. So this is how we can reach to more and more people.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Ashutosh. Homi, would you like to take the science of it first, and then the business questions can come?
Sure. So, you know, the whole idea of a smart cane is not new, right? There are canes available that do smart things, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, but they sell for 60,000 rupees. You are selling it for
3,000.
So, what is it that's making your cane so inexpensive, and what is that novel feature that you have that makes it interesting? Why should I be interested in that?
Okay. So internationally, traditionally, there have been efforts to mount sensors on the cane to do detection, but they've achieved very low penetration both in developed countries and almost negligible in the developing world. The primary reason is that they have conflicting sensory outputs. So for example, they're using audio, which actually distracts a lot of blind persons. You want to rely on that for safety. Other than that, they are only constrained to one particular holding or gripping style, which is the standard one. But in India, we have very few mobility trainers, so each blind person has evolved their own personalized style. So in the Smart Cane, due to user involvement at every stage, right from specifications, we have addressed these usability issues in terms of detachment, in terms of small, lightweight unit, which allows flexibility of holding styles, vibrations produced in the entire unit. So there are novelties like using one single low-cost sensor to actually cover the entire navigation corridor of the person, signal structure interaction optimization so that this vibrations produced from a low-cost cell phone vibrator are able to produce these sensory outputs. In terms of affordability, the international products never started with the objective of producing a low-cost solution. Plus, they also rely on very significant support from the government to provide this to end users. Now, in India, we were very clear that we wanted a cost-effective solution, which is the cost of improving mobility upon the ratio of the cost, right? So the decisions that we made in design, like shifting, like using low-cost electronics and sensors, shifting complexity into software, using materials which are low-cost, developing the supply chain in India have actually resulted in the price point, which is there.
It's a simple attachment which can fit on any cane.
It can fit on a
majority
majority
of canes. So there's nothing new in the cane, per se.
No,
so have you thought of it as a wearable device, either on the wrist or maybe on the, you know, waist? And you talked about dignity. You know, you take away actually the stick from the hand, and you actually give it as a wearable device, maybe the plastic, which is the most costlier part, even maybe more costlier than the sensors which you are using, if you were to use other elements which were much cheaper on the variable side, probably the cost can come down further and the penetration of the device can go much higher. Have you thought about that?
Okay, so from the beginning, the users mentioned that the white cane for them is so significant that they did not want a replacement. So from day one, we wanted to make an enhancement, and they actually said that this is what I'm going to be using. It's my identity. I'm going to be walking this. I don't want you to replace it. So that's why we went for a detachable unit that fits on the cane. However, there could be some sensors that could be mounted in a very which doesn't show explicitly. Those sensors can be tried out in future versions. But from a basic product point of view, we always went with an enhancement, not a replacement to the white cane.
I'm more curious to know what your innovation pipeline looks like. I want a peekaboo into that.
One is that we are relying on a cane, which sort of fits for India. But we could actually improve that and provide a premium solution to go out for middle income countries and develop a product around that. The second aspect is looking at the mobility from a user's point of view and developing accessories. For example, one of the suggestions from the Center for Blind Women was that can you actually produce an umbrella-like pouch so that I can carry it in my bag so that it doesn't soil the other articles that I have. On the number 3 side, obviously with additional sensors, we can do much better, like cameras and imagery, and also look at the mobility problem in its entirety. And also trying to develop as many vendors in India, set up the entire pipeline in India, so we can really drive the cost down and provide more and more margins for vendors here.
My recommendation, Rohan, would be don't position yourself as a product meant for you know, the underprivileged or bottom of the pyramid or whatever, and it's going to be government scheme related and NGO distributed kind of positioning. You would unfortunately kill the product. Your product has the kind of potential that you need to dream about, aspire for. Don't get stuck in this mold.
Excellent. Well, it's not just marks you get from our judges, some good suggestions as well that you can take on board. Okay, our judges are done scoring. Now remember that Rohan and Ashutosh have to beat 188. That's on our leaderboard. So judges, over to you. If you could tell us the marks, please.
So from me, they've got 64 out of 100 overall. And the highest score which they've got from me is on the commercial viability.
So that's 4 points more than what you marked the previous team. Okay, well, that's
Did you
good
have
news
to
for you
steal
guys.
my thunder? I was going to say I'm 4 points nicer than Rajiv. So I've given you 68. Relevance, you know, you scored high. Reach and commercial viability is high. You just need to exploit it.
Well, so 56 from Homi out of 100 will make their scores tied. Anything more than that means that Rohan and Ashutosh win today's challenge. Homi, let's see if you've given a bit of leeway to a young science man like yourself. 56 or more, what's it going to be?
I thought the science was actually quite average. The commercial viability as it stands right now is average in my opinion. But I did score you high on relevance and disruption and the Shunya quotient. So the total came to 72.
Whoa! So Rohan and Ashutosh, congratulations. That makes you the winner of today's episode. I'd like to request Rajiv, who has 2 tablet devices for our young innovators. So Rajiv, if you could just join us here. And gentlemen, if you could just come here and collect your prizes. Well, so that's the end of this episode. Our leaderboard reflects 204 points for Ashutosh and Rohan. We'll have to see how the other teams go because the top 2 on our leaderboard at the end of this series will be in that grand finale. But hey, we've got a long time to go. Many more ideas to listen to, lots to get impressed about, and of course, lots of contestants for our judges to grill. We'll just hope they're nicer next time. Nah. From us, it's goodbye. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.